Hey traders, welcome back to another daily profit and loss recap video. Today is Thursday, June 22nd. I just finished up trading for the morning and I locked in $2,061 in profits with two trades. Both of them were winning trades, and in this video we're going to break down these two trades, talk about my thought process behind them, so hopefully you can take something from my trading and apply it to your own. Okay, so the first trade for me today was the stock AGLE. This was a big gap up this morning in pre-market. The previous day's closing price on this was about 10 cents per share, and this morning in pre-market it spiked all the way up to a high of $1.04. So a massive gap up this morning. But as we can see at the market open, if we take a look at the 5-minute chart specifically, there is no opening range breakout to trade this initial gap and go. The opening range breakout level in this case is going to be this high up here of about 96 cents, and it comes straight down to the VWAP pretty much at the market open. I posted over in the Market Master group that I was watching this for a potential bounce if it was going to pull back to the 60-cent level. That's where I would be looking for that quick bounce from. And that was based on the VWAP and the volume profile, because at the time, if we take a look at the VWAP, it was right there at about 60 cents. Also on the volume profile, which is this horizontal volume indicator on the right side of the chart. A lot of times the levels where there is a significant amount of volume traded at can become a level of support or resistance. So being that it was trading in this low volume area here, at the time if it pulled back into this high volume area at about 60 cents, there's a good chance that we could see a quick bounce from that level. So that was my thought process that I shared with the group at the time. I ended up taking a starter position in this stock and in this trade once it pulled back into that 60-cent level. We can see it actually hit a low of 0.6025 on that pullback. So it almost hit exactly at 60 cents per share before it bounced all the way up to a high of about 76 cents. And that's the trade that I capitalized on. I built into a starter position as it was pulling back into that 60-cent level. And this candlestick right here at 9:55 a.m. is where I actually added some shares into this position, because we see that the previous candle was a small red candle. And immediately the very next minute, that small pullback from the previous candle was bought right back up. And that to me was a bullish sign that this was going to continue to bounce from that 60-cent area. So I ended up with a total of 8,000 shares in this trade with an average price of about 65 cents. I locked in some profits over 70. And then once we saw that it started to double top here, right at about 76 cents, we go ahead and just draw that line. That's when I started to sell the rest of my shares and lock in the rest of my profits, as it was starting to form that double top and as it was starting to reject that previous high at 76 cents. Okay, so that was kind of how I traded this stock. I ended up with $564 in profits from this trade alone. It was a really solid trade, and I'm very happy with how it ended up, because at the end of the day, this stock has been downtrending since the market opened. So being able to have that patience and wait for the right time to enter, as opposed to just blindly buying the dip as it's pulling back lower and lower, is very, very important for trading these types of setups, and I'm really happy with how I traded this stock. Okay, moving on to the other trade for me today. This was the stock VCIG. If we take a look over here in the Market Master group, VCIG was in the trade plans overnight because it was starting to form an inside bar setup on the daily chart. And on top of that, using the volume profile once again, we see that there is a very high volume area right at about $4 per share. So I was looking to trade this one of two ways. Either it pulled back into this $4 level at the market open, and I would have looked to buy into that pullback. Or if we take a look at the daily chart, the inside bar that was forming here had a high of $6.08. So if it started to break above that $6.08 level, that's where I was going to look for an entry to get in for the next move up. And if we take a look at the intraday chart here, we can see pretty much right at the market open, it starts to spike up. It actually gets halted for volatility on that spike up. And then once that halt is over, it actually opens up over $6 per share. And when I actually traded this stock was the following candlestick. We can see that it opens, spikes up to a high of $6.68, pulls back, and it bounces right off of that $6 level. So this previous level that was a breakout level in a small area of resistance is now turning into a little bit of support. The stock is bouncing off of it. Buyers are taking control at that level. And that to me was a very bullish sign. I posted in the Market Master group at the time that that exact situation was starting to happen and that I was looking for a trade based off of it. And I took a starter position in the low sixes. I added into that once it started to validate my thought process and started to break back up towards the highs. I ended up with 2,000 shares. I believe my average cost on this trade was about $6.35 per share. I locked in some profits up in the 690s, and then I locked in the rest of my profits as it spiked up here into the mid 7s, and that was my profit target on this trade because if we take a look at the bigger picture here, Tuesday is the day that this had its big initial move, and right at the end of the day we can see that there is quite a bit of resistance that started to form, as well as in after hours that same day in the mid to high 7s. So I was just locking in profits into that spike because of that past level of resistance and because of the potential that it was going to have a big rejection, and I didn't want to watch this solid winning trade turn into a small winning trade or even a losing trade. So at the end of the day with that trade I ended up with $1,496 in profits, which took my overall profits for the day up to $2,061. Really solid morning of trading. There were finally some great setups to trade at the market open, and I didn't factor it into this screenshot of my profits or the title of this video, but I actually had another trade as well, and that was a short trade in the stock FNGR. This trade was taken in my short selling account with TradeZero, and I used a completely different setup on a different computer for my short selling because TradeZero does not run on the Mac computer that I use for all of my other trading. But again, this was another setup that was in the Market Master Group's trade plans overnight, and the trade plans for this were going against the grain here a little bit and looking for a reversal to short sell, as this is getting overbought with a 78.93 daily RSI and no catalyst for the move. I'll be looking to short into a gap up Thursday morning, with the goal being to lock in some profits and cover in the mid 2s. And this one played out pretty much perfectly. We can see that in after hours and in pre-market, there's a lot of resistance that starts forming in the 340 area. If we go ahead and just draw a line there, we can see that there are several occasions in the extended hours trading where it has a nice rejection from that level. So once we get this bounce up into the 320s at the market open, I take a short position based on the trade plans, and I alerted the team that I was taking this position. And sure enough, about 20 minutes later, it's back under $3 per share, and I locked in my profits on this trade as it dumped back down into this 280 area. So again, that trade was not factored into my profit and loss that I posted in this video, but I did want to just briefly cover it as well, since it was alerted in the Market Master group. But anyway, with all of that being said, there were a few traders that made some solid profits today off these trades as well. We had Murph, who was able to make $180 in MGOL. That was another stock in the trade plans. I believe Murph also traded AGLE this morning, and that brought their total profits to $685. And Murph also said that I have only been trading for 2 months, but I've learned now is the time to call it a day. And that is definitely something that resonates with me. If you've been watching these videos, you've probably noticed that I do all of my trading in the morning. And that's just because one thing that I've realized from years of tracking my trades and tracking data for my trades is that most of my losing trades happen in the afternoon. So a few years ago, I decided to just focus solely on morning trading, and that actually was kind of a game-changing decision for me. I was able to increase my accuracy and focus on the setups that historically have worked the best for me. And I'm glad to see that Murph is following the same system and doing it as well. Okay, so anyway, those were my trades and my main focuses for the day. I ended up again with a total profit of $2,061. Really nice bounce back from yesterday's red day. Hopefully you found some value from me recapping these trades in this video. And if you did, please make sure to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to hear about these stocks that I'm trading in real time, as well as have access to my day trade and swing trade alerts, our group chat, our live scanner streams, and more, there's going to be a link down below in the description to come join us in the Market Master group. But anyway, thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck with your trading.